Wow, I'm going to have to be very careful. Arts expert and teacher, and is a 9th degree black belt in what?
Jiu-jitsu, actually. It's one of the older art forms in Japan. It started, and Jiu-Jitsu uses a lot of armbar locks, a lot of pressure points, but there's still kicking and punching involved in it. Whereas karate is pretty much an open-handed fighting style, which deals with kicking and punching. Block, kick, and punch are your primary goals here, as is taekwondo. Japan many years ago, and with that he decided instead of breaking arms and doing pressure points and chokeholds, things that would be illegal, he would make a sport out of it.
Make a game out of it.
Right. Katagatame, one of the moves that you would have, or do a judo throw like a uchigari or sotogari, there would be a point scoring match that would be involved there.
Michael, if you went to Japan, could you get along? Do you speak that much Japanese?
No,
or
I
do
don't.
You just know the names
I
of
don't
the
speak too much. Korean, and get along with all of them. I think they all have something to offer, all art forms.
Is it like a world unto itself, the martial arts world?
It is, and it isn't. Now, not anymore. That's one of the reasons why I got involved in building, you know, the biggest internet site in the world, martial art internet site with AOL. I built it originally, and it's about 40,000 pages. Pretty much everybody goes in there. It's an entertainment. The entertainment end of the martial arts deals with Chuck Norris, Sammo Hung, a Lethal Weapon. Now it's become so broad that it's no longer kind of like that hidden behind closed doors art form. With the CID, and he came back from World War II, and he was one of the pioneers on the East Coast, and in America he's one of the truly original pioneers. There's a few of them out there that are left today, and father being, not that he's that well these days, my magazine.
Yeah, now here's Sammo Hung. Now Sammo Hung is not an advertisement for health and diet. You know, he's a heavy set. He's fat.
Doesn't matter. I went to China and made a movie back in 1991 called China He Paid in Blood, and there were people that were out of shape. He studied at the you know, opera, the Chinese opera house, with along with Jackie Chan, good friends. And these guys, doesn't matter. There are people out there that have flexibility, that are raised, taught how to have that flexibility.
Because, you know, you look at guys like Chuck Norris and some of the other martial arts guys that are in the movies, and they look like athletes.
Yeah.
He does not.
Yeah. Well, we have that. I mean, I have an action film camp that's coming up, and I mean, I have a lot of people that you'd be surprised are out of shape, but I teach people how to break into movies, and my action film camp does that. It's next week, as a matter of fact. I would use majority of the people from my, you know, film camp that we sponsor.
Oh, in other words, people who you taught will be appearing in a film that you've made?
We are, yeah. I just finished producing. I executive produced it. I wrote it, starred in it. I have, in fact, Frank Capra Jr. is my father in the movie. I did it down at Screen Gem Studios where Brandon Lee was shot, actually, and they made Ninja Turtles. In fact, Dawson's Creek is shot there, and the producer was Vice President.
Later.
But the people that come to the camp are all sizes, shapes, weights. I mean, you can't imagine how many people we have come there that you would never believe can move and take falls like Sammo off of this stage and land on their back with not a problem. It's just a matter of understanding how do you condition yourself. It's like anything else. You basically swim probably different than I swim. And you know, it's no different than somebody playing baseball, and they're a little bit, their style of hitting the ball is a little bit different than your style, but they can manage to hit the ball. So it's all a matter of how you were trained. I think that's really important, the conditioning.
When you said the film was a mob film, not a martial arts movie?
No, it's actually an action. It's an action. I wrote the script about 10 years ago when it was really related to. I saw a limousine get hit in New York City, and with that, I decided that I would make a movie. And I said, what if that was the mob boss in the limousine? You hit it innocently, and he blamed somebody. He thought it was another mob crew trying to kill him, the Godfather. So with that, I came that he's driving, and he now avenges his brother's death by going after these guys that killed his brother.
Now,
very interesting story.
What's the next step, though? I mean,
Well,
the film is done. It's in the can?
Yeah, it is in the can completely. I have a distributor for the international market. I have several distributors actually came after me, but I'm dealing with Alan Solomon right now with Amstel Entertainment, who distributed a lot of the Billy Blanks movies and a lot of, like, Red Scorpion. Also Yuzuka Way and Tiger Claws 1, 2, and 3. A lot of the action-oriented. And now I'm working on, through my internet site, my magazine, which is distributed to 52 countries, and the internet site is probably the biggest thing I even have now for promoting, and my movie production company, which is...
You're busy. We're going to take a break before you run out of breath. We'll be right back with martial arts expert, producer, magazine publisher, actor, Michael D. Pasquale Jr., and writer. Don't go away. With a cigarette in your hand?
Yeah, the director wanted me to have a cigarette because my hands would get... I used to notice I talk like an Italian with my hands in a way, so they said, get a cigarette and put it in his hand, because I was always moving my hands around, so... And my hands got very big on camera. But the ending of that is really dynamic with a lot of explosions and stunts. We teach all the people we have at our camp that is next week. We teach pyrotechnics. We have 2 cars we're exploding next week. We're teaching them how to squib, which is, you know, we teach everybody. And what we're doing is
what's squib? You left me behind.
Squibbing is when you, I shoot you and all of a sudden the hole breaks open in your chest and blood comes flying out. Yeah. That's a squib.
Oh, okay.
And we squib people, teach them how to handle machine guns and firearms properly for film. We teach them how to act. We do production reality, how to put a package together when you go in front of people.
How far in advance do people have to sign up for that?
They can still sign up. Actually, we still take people. We try to take as many as we can. Although we are getting full right now. But I do it. I've done it in Burbank, Atlanta. I've done it in quite a few different places. But next week is the big one, and that's up in Storm King Mountain above West Point. Beautiful, overlooking the Hudson. We have a big.
I know the area. Yeah.
Yeah, Storm King Mountain School actually is where we do that, and hopefully anybody who's interested in coming, they're more than welcome to still sign up.
You've also written some books, Streetwise Saftey for children and for women. And these are not martial arts books. I mean, these books
too is probably one of the first things I've done, which was an anti-crime organization dedicated to reducing the incidence of violent crime and drugs in America. I do a lot of disabled with the HIP organization.
Waving a red flag.
Right, and it's a shame, but I've helped quite a few of the disabled folks with the HIP organization, independent living, learn some of the ways that they can combat crime through not only self-defense. Self-defense does not start from the physical side, it starts from the mental side. How are you aware? How do you secure yourself so you can not be vulnerable? And how do you secure your home? So these are the books I started writing many years ago. Actually, I started writing before I started publishing a magazine with Simon & Schuster. I had 6 books with them.
What was the first martial arts movie you ever saw?
Five Fingers of Death was one of the first martial movies. It's kind of funny, but the first martial art movie that I ever saw and I was in, it was my father. My father did a movie back, and no one knows this, but in 1967, Paramount Pictures approached my dad, before Chuck, before Bruce, before anybody, and they did a movie called Chop Chop, and it was a documentary, 10-minute documentary that Chris Schenkel narrated. And it was 10 minutes. My father's my idol. Yeah. My father was always, I mean, he never really looked at martial arts because it was always a hobby. I still have a school in Rivervale, New Jersey, and I maintain that school because my father always had a school, and I don't need the school at this point with everything else I'm doing, but I love to teach, and I love somebody in the lake in Demorest, New Jersey, but Paramount Pictures made it, and it was a short documentary that went to Vietnam, went all over the world.
How old were you at the time?
I had to be 10, 11 years old at the time, and my mom and my dad, I mean, gave me the opportunity, and I'll never forget it because they couldn't fit the cameras in the dojo, so they built the 3-wall dojo outside, and they put the 2 cameras outside, and they had the Karate Creed, which was at the end, Chris Schenkel had said the Karate Creed when my father was breaking a patio block, but it was all about jiu-jitsu, judo, karate, and it was basically a documentary on those particular sport and art forms.
How about the great martial arts stars that so many people grew up admiring, Bruce Lee?
I love Bruce Lee. In fact, I thought Bruce Lee was one of my idols, and I think that he's still an idol of many people. He had a strong influence on a lot of martial arts like Chuck Norris, Joe Louis, and a lot of the famous fighters at the time. Bruce, I think he influenced Jackie Chan. Was in, I don't know, a lot of people don't know Jackie Chan was in Enter the Dragon. He was the guy that was inside when the snake was coming out. He's one of the guys that got hits over the head by Bruce. But there's a lot that we have to be thankful for that Bruce did.
And Chuck Norris?
Chuck is I know Chuck personally. He's a wonderful, wonderful human being. He's done a lot for the martial arts. He's a concerned martial artist. He's a concerned human being. He does a lot for people in general, not only in the martial art industry, but he goes out of his way when he need, and he also has kicked drugs out of America.
Michael, to some degree, a lot of people look at some of the what they call the chopsaki movies, as comedies. You know, you can't believe that a person can make that kind of a noise by moving their hand and all that kind of stuff. Is there room for serious martial arts movies, or is it just going to continue along as it is? What do you think?
I think it's happening now. I think even the movie shows. There's a storyline to it. It's not always chopsaki martial arts. Chuck's movies, TV series, is definitely about, he always has an it's something that I think that, and I teach law enforcement. I mean, I've been teaching the here's the movie making and TV making, and here's the magazine publishing. Put them together, even though they're martial oriented, there's a lot of avenues. I created characters called the Max Team and the Karate Creatures. There's so many ways to go with that.